Hi, today I'm going to show you how we are going to automate the generation of PDF files. So basically, as you can see in the background, I have got an invoice database which I have created in Notion, and I'm looking to create PDF files on automation from this database. So every time I will be adding a new invoice detail, I want to create a PDF file completely on automation. So in this database, I have a lot of elements that we typically find in an invoice document, but corresponding to this database, I also have a Google document which I have created beforehand, which has all the invoice elements that is created over here. So I'll be using this Google document as my source of template file, and I'll be using this Notion database as my source of database, and I'll be creating PDF file one by one for every row of the database. The beautiful thing about this automation is that once we set up the automation and we add new records, it will automatically create the PDF files and directly store the PDF file right inside the database. So we will not be required to go to any other tool once the automation is set up, and it will automatically create the PDF file right over here. So let us understand how this will work. For this, we need to take help of the tool PDF Output. PDF Output is a tool where you will be able to set up the automation with Notion database using the Google document. So once you land up on PDF Output, click on Create PDF, and you can quickly sign in with one of your account as you're going to use in this process. So I'm going to quickly sign in with one of my account from this list, and then I will show you how you can set up the automation for your use case. While signing in, make sure you are giving all the necessary permissions that are required. Once you have given access to all the permissions, it's time to set up the entire automation and understand how it will work. So the very first thing which I need to do is I need to add the Notion database which is required over here. So I will click on this field and I'll click on Add Notion database. As I click on Add Notion database, it will load up the screen to add the database. What I'll also be needed to do is I need to copy the database title that I have on the Notion workspace. So let me copy this. Let me go back and let me click on Next. Make sure you choose the right account which you're going to use, and over here you have two options provided. You can either go with the default template which I've already provided for your use case, or you can go with adding your own database. So if you click on Select Pages, you will be able to add your own database. Click on this and click on Select Pages, and make sure you search for the database which you are going to add. So I will simply paste the database name over here, and it will show me the database which is available. So I will click on the required database which I need, and you can see it is saying already added. Now if you scroll down, you will be able to allow the access to gain access to the database. I want to highlight one important thing over here. When you're adding a database, always ensure you are searching for the database in the search field and then adding the same. If you're directly adding the database from the pages, it may take some while to load the database, and you may miss out on the databases whatever you need. So always search for the database on the top, and once it appears in the list, click on that specific database to add it. And once it is added, you can scroll down and click on allow access. So make sure you follow that exact process. Once you do that, it will automatically populate the database over here inside this field. So if you click on the drop down, you will be able to see the database coming up over here. So I will click on Professional Invoice Database as I've added it. And once you click on that, it will start to fetch all the properties of the database which we'll be using for the automation. So you can see it has successfully loaded the records. If you scroll down, you will be able to see all the properties of the database appearing over here. These are the properties which I'll be using for my automation setup. So with the help of these properties, I will be able to automate the entire process. Now we need to add the document for the use case. So click on Add Google Document, and there are two options. Either you can add a demo document, or you can select an existing document. If you click on demo document, it will automatically create a document for you with these properties embedded into that. So you can quickly test the automation setup. But in my case, I'm going to add a new document from scratch. So I will click on Add Google Document, and I'll click on Select Existing Document. Then it will show me the screen where I can choose the document for my use case. So this is the exact document which I'm using. So I'm going to copy the entire document name. So I'll copy the name and I'll put it inside this documents field. So you have the documents field, and just put it over here and search for it. It will show the document in your case. Click on the document and click on select. And now you can see the document is getting loaded up on the left side. So I have already added the database. I've already added the document. It's time to map the fields which are already there and present over here on the right side one by one onto the document so that we can set up the automation. In order to map the field, what I can do is, let's say on the document, I don't have the client name. So let me remove this client name field. I don't have the client company as well. Let me remove it. I don't have the address. So let me remove these fields which I do not have. Okay, let's assume I am not having this. So I need to get the client name, right? So I will just search for client name in the database as I've already created beforehand. I'll click on copy. It will copy the property from here, and I will simply use Control V or Command V on my keyboard shortcut to paste it. So now my element is directly pasted onto the Google document. Similarly, I will go with the company. So let me click to copy the company value, and I will simply paste it using Control V or Command V. Next is I need the address field. So let me get the address. Again, I will click on copy, and I need to paste the address over here. So you just simply click to copy the value and paste it onto the document. So that will help you map the fields which is required for the automation process. So now when I'll download the PDF, it will fetch the value of the client name, client company, client address, and so on for all the fields from the database itself, and it will create a PDF file for me. And if you go back to the database, you will observe that it has added two additional columns for us. One is by the name of generate PDF, one is by the name of PDF files. So if you mark any record as ready to generate in this generate PDF section, it will create the PDF files right for those records inside this particular placeholder. So for every record that you place in that you put in ready to generate mode, it will create the PDF file for those specific records in the database itself. So I have already marked three records as ready to generate. What I'll do is I will scroll up and I'll click on download PDF to generate the PDF files. But before that, I also have an option to set the file name. So I want to set the file name as per the invoice number which is already present. So I will just go with invoice number selection. So that all the files which are created will be created by the name of invoice number which we have over here. Okay. So once this is done, I will click on download PDF, and now you can see it starts processing the files, and it will automatically download the files for me. So let us wait for a few seconds as it is going to process the file, and it will create the PDF files for us. So the first file is already out, and it is already on my downloads folder, if you will be able to see. So you can see my downloads folder, it is automatically getting downloaded. But meanwhile, if I check my database, you will see that those two specific files are also placed over here, and the status is marked as completed. So as you keep on downloading the PDFs, the files get uploaded over here in the database itself. So let me open up one of the files to showcase how it is exactly. So you can see all the placeholder elements have been mapped from the database itself, and they have been replaced over here. Okay. So if you see the database, this was exactly the database that we used. So it has automatically mapped all the elements, and it has automatically created the PDF files for us. So the only thing you need to do is create the document, map the fields for the document, and download the PDF. So let me show you another PDF file from here so that you have clarity of how exactly it works. This is the second file which it has created. But the best part is once this automation is set up, simply click on setup Notion automation. Once you click on this, it will now create an automation configuration, and you never need to come back to PDF output ever again to generate PDF files. All you need to do is simply create a new record over here, and you can map the field over here as ready to generate, and it will automatically create the PDF file over here. So you can keep adding records with all the values and click on ready to generate. It will automatically create the record over here with the template that you have used. If you want to change the template, you can obviously go back to here and repeat the entire process, use the new template, and just click on setup Notion automation once again. So this is completely hands-free, and it creates the PDF file right inside the Notion database for a use case. I hope this demonstration was helpful to you. If you have any questions besides this, just head over to PDF Output contact section and send me a message with whatever queries you're having. I'll be happy to assist you with that. I also have this chat bubble open, so you can directly